Hey everybody. I'm that girl goddess, but I'm here to talk about jealousy today, and I wanted to say they are jealous of you. Yes, that's right. They jealous of you. They jealous of your accomplishments. They jealous of your relationships. They are jealous of your items, your possessions, your house, your car, your mindset, your God. That's right. They're jealous of you. Now, first, let me define the word jealous, and it is to envy or be envious, sinful, or possessiveness. It is an intense interest for another person's honor or prosperity. Being jealous indicates that we are not satisfied with what God has given us or what we have or our state of being. Jealousy, even though it says to envy or be envious, jealousy or envy relates to covetousness. Covetousness is to want and long for somebody else's things, item, person, or anything, even their future blessings. They don't have to necessarily have to have it, because they can see your destiny, your future sometimes, and they are jealous of that. Okay, the difference between jealousy and envy is envy always has an outward focus. I wrote some things down. That focus, outward focus, we desire somebody's items, person, or attributes possessed by somebody else, and we are discontent and resentful about not having it. Envy is never positive. Jealousy is often found in a more restricted context of the protection of one's own item or relationship, especially a romantic relationship. You can envy someone because they have a partner, but if someone flirts or tries to take them from you, it will make you jealous, which is a zealous vigilance. Jealousy is unyielding as the grave. It burns as a raging fire, having attributes of anger and unhappiness. Jealousy also has a root, which is low self esteem. People who want to come after your things don't believe deep down that they can have those things. Some people, they want those things only because you have them. Okay? Because you'll hear people say, I don't even want it, but I just don't want them to have it. Okay? When you build relationships or friendships, I understand, like if you're in a romantic relationship, especially as a marriage, I only consider relationships in the form of love yours once you get married. Because no matter what people say, and I always tell people, we live in the world of trust me, baby. All these women who men laid with men and had children by them, and they said, baby, trust me. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be a great father. You won't have to worry about me. I got your back. And how many of those women are disappointed to this day and hurt? They present it as anger, but anger is only unresolved hurt. You know, and I'm going to say this. Sometimes we can't go forward because we're still holding on to hurt that somebody else did. We can't change how we are because we scared. We don't trust. But I tell people that's only inhibiting you. It's setting limits on you. Okay? Once you leave a situation, you're going to have to recognize you're not bound to those things that happened to you. You're starting anew. You have to release it. Now you can stand here and pray to God and tell him, well, I don't want a person who's going to lie to me. I don't want a person who does this. I don't want a person who does that. And I'm not going to do this and that to anybody else. And Lord, I need better. We can set our vision and our affections on higher things, more positive things. But when we don't forgive or let go some things, we're always holding those things towards everything that come into our life. And then we end up imparting it on people. See, have you ever dated somebody and they keep saying, I know you're going to cheat on me. And you be looking at them like, you don't even have no intention on cheating. But they keep saying it and saying it. And then eventually that person cheat. And the first thing they're going to say is, I did that. I don't know why I did that, but I just got tired of them accusing me of this. And to the point, the person don't even realize they spoke it into existence. You get tired of being accused of being something. You get tired of people sitting around acting like you're going to be low vibing. We have to change. We have to go into a new relationship with a better outlook. We have to heal. And once we let something go, we have to turn around and pray and meditate for good things to come to us. Because we're sitting around, I know they're going to do this. And you can't trust nobody. Well, the Bible says you can't trust no man. Put your trust in him. If God tell you this is the person, or this person have these attributes, or show it to you, even if you don't hear God verbally, but he show you the signs, don't just keep asking him the same old question, but you have to trust that God is the spirit of truth, which he is. It's impossible for God to lie. So if God show you something and he speaks something to you or give you an impression of something, it's real. It's the truth. And we have to trust those things of God. That's all we have. You can't trust the devil. Okay, you can't trust foolishness. You can't trust low vibing. Because one thing about low vibing people and situations is just that. It's this far from the ground. Okay? Or on the ground, or lower than the ground, in the grave. Okay? You can't trust something that's not on this side of the earth, or this side of the grave, as they say. You can't trust something that's all the way around down there, especially if you want to be up here. You have to reach and look up towards things and strive for those positive things, the light. We can't just keep saying, you gonna be this. You talking negative gonna keep you right here. You'll never get here. You'll never get there. You're gonna deal with those things until you let it go and walk off on faith, which is something that you're hoping for. And you got to believe, if you pray to God, that you're going to have it. I tell people, well, if you're a devil, of course, when you don't serve God, you deny yourself the blessings. Yes, God can bless you because he blesses everybody every day to wake up. Okay? It's up to you to what you're going to do and what are opportunities that lie ahead of you. You have to turn around and say no to negativity. No more. This is the end. Devil, you a liar. You tell that devil, you a liar. I chose God. I chose the goodness. I chose life. I chose joy. I chose success. I chose victory. See, a lot of times we don't speak to ourselves, and we have to turn around and say, I am successful. I am victorious. I am an overcomer. You got to speak those things that be not as though they were. You got to say, I am the next millionaire. You got to say, I am the next prosperous person. I am a person who have more than what I need to succeed on all things. You got to speak those things. And you talking about these devils will try to claim your blessings in a minute. But God didn't promise them that. Okay, if they chose Satan for their father, they're going to get the attributes of Satan. They're going to get the works of the flesh, which is adulterous, cheating people, anger issue, hurt people. You're going to get sickness and disease and low vibing. You're going to get those things where people not loyal in a relationship, always conniving, full of hate and jealous and enviness. And when you see God's children, you know we got a joy, an unspeakable joy. Even though we going through things, we are still joys because we know God gonna bring us out. He made a promise to us. He said, many of the affliction of the righteous, but he shall deliver you out of it all. You gotta know that God is a deliverer and he's gonna deliver you out of it all. Now, some people say, well, God, is, sometimes you can be so religious or holy. I said, well, that's my faith. I'm a Christian. All my hope is in God's word because he's the spirit of truth. That's not religious. Religious is when you go to church, you hear the word, you don't take it in, and then you go jump up and down, and you say hallelujah. But if somebody asks you, what did the preacher preach? You couldn't even tell them because nothing went into the inside of you. You can't sit around. That's why I tell people, you talking about these mega pastors. First of all, you're not going to teach me too much of anything unless God sent me somewhere for a particular thing. If you are low Bible, you can't be my pastor out here cheating on your wife. Because the first sign, I'm out. Okay? Because when I accept you as my pastor and you're cheating on your spouse, and I'm saying, well, okay, we all come short. I'm saying if a man come into my life and marries me, it's okay if he cheat on me because we all come short. I'm looking for a standard. And the person, that's over to teach me or a representation or an ambassador of God, they have to be a person of character. They have to be a person of faith. I'm not finna deal with someone and go into counseling with someone who has low character or lack of character. Okay? You are what you hang around. Okay? So I don't hang out in places like that because I don't want no one cheating on me. I want to hang around people with good character, good integrity. Okay? I want to hang out with people that is truthful and not a liar. Because when he took his wedding vow, he promised never to forsake her or him. When you took a wedding vow, you made a promise, gave your word that you will do all you can to that person to represent love. Your actions are going to line up with love towards that person. Now, if you ain't chose to do that, I tell everybody, look, I don't want to hang out with you because I'm a person of good character and integrity. When I say I'm going to love someone, I am committed and dedicated and determined to do just that. And that's what I want in my life. I tell people I don't want to guess what you're going to do, and you go over to the woman across the street how to fix her plumbing, and I'm sitting here rocking back and forth like, oh yeah, you going to take me. You going to take my man. I don't want to sit up and see my parents with a partner they married to and everybody talking about how that person is a rolling stone and laying with everybody. I don't want to see that. Okay, I want to believe that the person that was joined in our family to my parent, sister, brother, cousin is of good character and they come to love. I don't want to hear about them beating them. Okay, that hurts my heart. And I don't want it done to me. And I don't want to do it to nobody else because I made a commitment to do something. I want to be able to trust what God has brought for myself. Okay? I don't look at relationships and I just see whatever great celebrity you see in a high position, I can put anybody's name up there that's well known in the public eye. And he's standing there telling me, we know a lot of these pastors, okay? They married, but they having outside children. What? What kind of stuff is this? You wasn't committed to that person. You just don't cheat on a person overnight or within a few seconds. That doesn't happen. What happens is I see a bee on my front porch, y'all. Y'all gotta excuse me, but I ain't finna cut this out my video. I'm finna pick up my broom, and it flew away, and I'm gonna keep it right by me. Okay? But I'm just saying, how's this a pastor? If you can't trust the person that you gonna teach you the word to have character, how can you expect them to draw people of character around you when birds of a feather flock together? If there was ever at the top, is going to pour down on the people up under there sitting at their church. You have to be careful where you sit from. If you hear you got a pastor and they in the rainbow crew and they standing there saying, well, it's okay, everybody have a choice. Yeah, they do have a choice. But as Christians, that shouldn't be our choice. Because when we serve God, we are not saying, God, I am committed to performing things you consider abomination. Now, I may love a lot of people I know that's in the life, and trust me, I do, because I got plenty of relatives. Okay? But that's a choice they made. Because whatever you choose to be involved with someone, it ain't is I don't have a choice. Yes, you do. If you can say yes to it or no to it, that gave you a choice. So I don't allow people to sit up and tell me stuff like that. If it's your choice, I respect it. Okay, I still love you. But in God's eye, it's best you learn to love yourself according to his word, because he defined what love is for us. And he said love is avoiding the works of flesh. So all your operation got to be outside of the works of flesh. And then you ask me, is it easy? I say for some people, no. But for me, yes. Okay? Because I want God to say, well done, daughter. Okay? I don't want, and he calling me daughter. I don't want him to turn around and say, I was so disappointed in you. Every time I asked you to do something, you had a problem doing it. God won't ask us to do nothing that we can't do. Okay? So I just look at people, that's just open rebellion. We don't respect him. How can we call God Lord and we don't do what he say? That's just what the words say. It's just like your children. They're you the mama or the daddy, and every time you tell them pick this paper up, and they act like they can't do it, and as soon as you leave out the room, they turn around and run out the room, and they say, well, I'll never get to have fun because you asked them to pick up some paper. Usually the tasks that God asks you to do don't require that much, but then things that he asks you to commit yourself to safeguards you. Okay, yes, I've been practicing my pronunciation and my speech. Yes. But he's telling you to do things that's going to benefit you, because the enemy goes about as a roaring lion, seeking who he may devour. Okay? And I just put that out there so people can know we do have a choice. Okay, we can be born and had different demons born in us because we was born in sin and shaped in iniquity. God knew that from the beginning. He called us out of darkness into his marvelous light. He don't ask us to do something we can't do. You know, I want to encourage Christians. You can. But if you keep hanging around dark places, situations, and people, you're not going to do the things God wants you to do. You're not going to prosper forward or go up because you're keeping yourself here. He blesses according to our obedience, our faith, our works. And faith, I tell people, faith without works is dead. So if you ain't going to do it, you're still in the grave. You got to get up and make a decision that you're going to go higher. You're going to go forward. A person always get up and make all these excuses. And I'm good to talk about these entitled people. They want something for nothing. And then they sit up and tell you, well, we wouldn't be going if we didn't need it. Hey, let me tell you something. If you really wanted to be successful, You wouldn't have planned to have children you couldn't afford to take care of. Because the first thing you would have did is went and got a job so you can provide for yourself. At least do something and save up to go to another level. You would have chose somebody else who is willing to work so they can be able to provide for themselves and go to another level. When you thought about children, y'all would have set some money aside and said, well, we're not going to plan children right here in this situation. We're going to make some intelligent choices and put some money aside so when that child comes, we're a little ready for the right now moment, but we know it's going to be at least 20 years of us sowing into this little individual bundle of joy that we want to give birth to and raise together. You'll have a plan. So when people sit up and tell me that, I'm like, look, first of all, you plan to be poor. You plan to be a poor parent. You plan to fail your child. Because when you don't, even if you get put in that position and you make a mistake, you can love your situation. You can love your child. You didn't need to have a baby at that moment. But the moment you discover that you're going to bring something into this world, you will take a step to make sure your child is born in abundance. You're going to prepare for that child. You're going to make sure you have a crib before that child gets there. You're going to have a roof over that child's head. You're going to have some source of income. You ain't going to just keep going begging to people year after year after year. Okay, I tell everybody, it's a whole lot of people got pregnant or got someone pregnant, and you know what they did? They went and got a job. They went and started fighting. I didn't see men, because my son did. The girl was already pregnant. You know what my son did? He still went out there and bought diapers and clothes and set up for this baby before it got here, because he told me he wanted to be a father. And guess what? He never walked away from that. People turn around and say, people was jealous. Oh, this not his son. I'm explaining something to you. I told them, I said, look, if he want to love a child, I have no problem with him, and I love the child too. And it's his child. And guess what? I love that baby. Okay? And he was young, and when I say young, real young. But I didn't care if he was 13, because he been telling me he wanted to be a daddy, a father, since he was 4. But guess what? When he reached out and got his goal and met this girl and she was pregnant and he loved her, guess what? And even when they broke up, they still friends. And he never walked away from that baby. You want to know why? Because I taught him, you are a father. You're supposed to be dedicated to being a provider and loving that child, experiencing them child's ups, lows, and all in between. You in there for the long haul. And that's what he was determined to do. And I tell everybody, it didn't matter to me what age he wanted to do this. What mattered to me, he was committed and determined to do it. And I'm proud of him. Okay, did he do everything right? No. Did he do most things right? Yeah. Did he come up when he did things wrong? Yeah. Okay, and I can't ask for no more than that. Okay, I tell people I done been a parent to a whole lot of children that wasn't mine. The person I was with found out he wasn't their true biological father. We kept on loving and raising them. Okay, it didn't matter. If you determined to do something and be something in somebody's life, that's what you're gonna be. If you want to fail, you're going to plan to fail. You want to live out another man's pocket, you limited your life. Okay? So you feel you entitled to what I work for? Ha ha. The government just showed you one thing. If they want to end it tomorrow, you still got to do what everybody else did that decided not to take that route and go higher. Okay? You have to. Okay? You're going to either sink or swim. I don't make excuses for not achieving something. I told my daughter, she was having problem reading and everything else. I told her, speak in the microphone on your phone and look up definition of words, let her read it back to you. And guess what? My daughter got her associates. They said that she would never be nothing but a pretty face. But guess what? She has an associate. She worked all her life. So from the time she was 14, we went down, we got her a work permit, and guess what? She been working all of her life. She enjoyed it. She have nice things. She saved money. It wasn't about her hanging at the club, but guess what? Every now and then, she's a young woman, I told her, well, go hang out. She went home, got her friends, knew how to come home and go to work the next day. Okay? She took a vacation. Her and her friends had a girls trip, and they took a vacation, then went from Florida to the Bahamas. And it may be a 3-day trip, but she made it happen. She saved up to enjoy something. And I'm proud of her. Okay? Because she never let what somebody else said to her or about her keep her from achieving great things. Okay? And I haven't either. People say all kind of stuff to me, and I tell them, even when I lived in the hood, I never lived like I was in the hood. I still got me a 24-hour live-in nanny. I still made a way to pay for it. Okay? It didn't matter. I had people come in on the weekends to help me with some stuff. I'm on my home improvement journey. Guess what? You see all that wood right there? I saved every scrap of wood because I will finish what I started doing. I'm studying. I did go to school for carpentry, but I still have a lot that I have never done and learning, and I'm doing whatever it takes. I have people who have journeyed on my journey so we can do this together. Okay? I'm not going to stop reaching for my goals and the things I want to obtain until I have them. I'm grateful to God for everything He gives me. Because He didn't have to give me anything, and any blessing He bring my way, I know not to mistreat it. Because just as God giveth, He taketh away. And I'm holding on to mine. Okay? All of this talking doubt and hate, and we all have it. We have been in the workplace, people turn around and say, she thinks she better than us. Why does she think she's better than us? She come to do a job just like you did to come to do a job on that work site. Why do you have those feelings? Why are you looking into a person like that? That foul spirit, I say, Satan, you need to get away from me. I want to enjoy the people I work with and around. Yes, you can't tell people everything. Yes, people are going to be envious and jealous. But guess what? You keep being positive, you're going to rise up to higher and better things. When you stop hanging around certain things, you saying, I am not this. So yeah, they would despise me because I'm not going to limit myself to negativity. I done heard people say, well, your child, you going to do this YouTube thing or TikTok thing, social media thing. You think you going to do this. I seen people have pages for years and never got monetized and never got this. But guess what? I'm not them. I'm going to keep pressing. I'm studying the guidelines of YouTube. I'm studying the different videos that people talk about. You know, I got to study now how to master these thumbnails and learn. I found out I sent off for something for a thumbnail, and it said that I have to pay $4.99 or some other price a month. Well, I'm going to do what I have to do because I want to get quality videos. Okay? But I'm going to, everything I talk about, I pray that it's something somebody can utilize. Okay? I'm not giving up. I always wanted to do this. I have a day job. Okay? I have hobbies. But I always wanted to do this. And I'm going to do it. And I want it to be a blessing to people as well as the people who watch bless me. by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing to my page. And I am shocked and thanking God people say I will never be able to do this. Well, I'm almost at let's say 415, close to 415 subscribers. I thank God for that. Okay. I know I got a long ways to go. People be like, you need at least 600 more. I said, I need at least 4,600 more. Okay. I want to know people. And I'm going to continue to press in till I get to those numbers and higher. And I'm pressing in to give better quality. Y'all be blessed. I'm that girl goddess. This is Dimensions of Christ. And y'all, don't forget about me. Share this. Bye.